Well, there's few things that bring excitement and hope for the coming future like getting the garden going in spring. And after the winter we've had, I am excited that we've gotten started. Well, we talked a little bit in one of our previous videos about the cold frame I threw together, so that is working beautifully. I wanted to show you a couple of things I did a little differently than what you might normally read about in a cold frame, because we're obviously not dealing with ideal circumstances here. I needed a way to use this to really sprout my seeds, and I needed to be able to keep it warm because we were going to have a couple more real freezes. So the first thing I did was build it a little deep. It's about 16 inches in front, 24 inches in back, and I filled it with black dirt because we can water that soil, which holds heat. Then every bit of of empty space I had, I actually lined with brick. So during the day, the brick absorbs the heat from the sun, and at night when I close the lid, that heat continues to keep the temperatures up more than it would if I had just the plants. And as you can see, it's working because we're only into about our second week here, and I have got all sorts of sprouts coming through. So I'm pretty excited about this. I was actually really concerned because I'm using pretty old seeds, and they also sat in that hot Connex building over the summer after we moved. So I wasn't honestly sure if the seeds would even germinate. So I am just thrilled to death to be getting what I am. I don't really expect the tomatoes and peppers and okra, some of the really warm season vegetables, they haven't started showing yet, but I'll keep babying them along and hopefully they'll pop up soon. But all the cool season vegetables and a few of the mid-season are doing awesome. So this is exciting. We may actually have a really good garden this year. So this is the start of a berry garden. These particular berries are Josta berries. I know they're really hard to see because they're totally camouflaged in the mulch and the surrounding soil, but you can basically identify them by the little white tags still hanging on them. I've left those for now. But right now our berry garden and orchard is kind of haphazardly sporadic looking. But there is a big master plan in mind. I'm just having to kind of make do. We couldn't purchase all of the plants we wanted yet because of just finances, budget. This year, everything's going into the house, but we wanted to get a start. So up the hill slightly, we've got apple trees, got a couple of peach trees here, and beyond that is a couple of cherry trees. So that gets our orchard started. We have left space to add a few more in the future. I've also got the start of a raised strawberry bed. I just, again, threw together some of those flitches. These are about 8 inches wide and just kind of screwed them together. So I've got a little over half the bed planted with strawberry starts, and I've got a few more on the way for next week to finish filling it out. So I'm excited. We may not have many berries this year, but next year we should have a good bunch of berries. So just to put this in perspective, over in the center of the screen here are those Josta berry patch we were just at. Then slightly uphill is the orchard that we've started. Of course, downhill is the pond. Behind me is the house. And over here in front of me, I have started our first row of grapevines. Now this one is looking a little funny right now because it's sort of messed up because I put the cold frame and the other box here. It's right in the middle of where my mulch should be here, but it does continue on, and I've got 2 more grapes in this section here. So we do have 4 grapevines to get us started. Again, this is all preparing for the future. Perennials are an awesome thing to add to any farm, so we should be good there. And then in the future we can add more rows because there's plenty of space available. This box may look a little strange. This was a temporary thing I threw together because these 4 plants are red currants, and they are supposed to go in our permanent garden, which is currently our lumber yard. So I cannot plant them for about a month or so. So what I've done is simply throw some soil in this water trough and what we call heel them in. I haven't done that before, but they say it's the best way to store them on a temporary basis. So they're just kind of heeled in with all their roots going one direction, and we keep them moist, and they may sprout and start growing, but that's okay. It doesn't encourage typical growth, but it will keep them alive, which is really my goal until I'm ready to plant them in their permanent spot. You may recall from previous videos, this is our teardrop in the middle of our teardrop shaped driveway, but the lumber has been pulled back just enough. I was able to put our first 2 gardens in this area. That's pretty exciting, as these are permanent gardens. So right here, kind of greeting you as you drive in, is going to be elderberry bushes. So I've got 4 elderberries planted here. It's really hard to see them. You can look and kind of identify the white tags there again, but just a row of elderberry bushes. And then right behind that, eventually there will be a fence and a little more here, but we've got to protect this stuff from deer. But this is the asparagus bed. So I have gotten most of it planted. I actually ran out of crowns, so I need to get a few more for this row, but I've done kind of a decent planting of asparagus and gotten it all mulched over. So hopefully we'll get some shoots up here in a month or so and have we won't eat them this year, but we'll see our first asparagus. We'll let them fern out, and then next year we should be able to start eating. So I have to brag on Sean a little bit. If you remember from previous videos, this entire area was full of logs. His lumber mill has not moved. It's still in the spot. It's been for, 8 months or 7 months now. And he has literally worked his way back. He got rid of the pile that was in front of the Connex, and all he's left with is this pile right here. So the plan right now is he's going to try to get through a few more logs, which will allow him to move the lumber mill up almost even with the Connex. And that will allow me to begin to establish more permanent garden beds down here in this section. I can get those currants in and a few other plants, and we can start a lot of work here. But this is impressive. You know, he's really been milling heavy for 6 or 7 months, and he's gotten through a lot of logs. So good job, honey. Well, things are staying awfully busy now that spring has arrived, and we've got a lot of exciting things planned and coming up as summer approaches. So if you've subscribed already, thank you very much for your support. If not, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and don't be afraid to leave a comment. We love to read them and love the encouragement. Have a great weekend.